going to deal with the service and the service return. In top-class racquetball, the service is all important. It's the only time in the game when you can control not only where you're going to hit the ball and how, but when. That makes the serve the primary offensive weapon in any player's arsenal. No player can win consistently without a selection of tough, hard-to-return serves. By varying the speed, the direction, and the height of your serves, you can keep the opponent off balance. Before Rich and I show you just how to hit those winners, remember one thing. Try to disguise your serves. Try to use the same sort of setup swing, the same motion, so that you keep your opponent guessing about the ball's final destination until the very last second. The better you are at that, the more successful you'll be in accomplishing the two main objectives of serving, to make aces or to force weak returns. The professional men players rely heavily on 140-mile-an-hour drive serves, which, believe me, takes some effort to return. Rich is one of the top exponents of the power serve.
The serve is probably the single most important factor in racquetball. When you're the server, you have complete control of what may happen in the ensuing rally. First of all, you're already in center court position, which is this area of the racquetball court. Second of all, you're the one who's going to decide when you're going to hit the ball, where you're going to hit the ball, and how you're going to hit the ball. So you should try and maximize your opportunities and take full advantage of when you're the server. There are two different types of serves. There are offensive serves and there are defensive serves. An offensive serve is a serve that you serve when you're trying to generate either an ace, which is an automatic point in racquetball, or you're trying to make your opponent return a weak service return. The defensive serves are serves that are strictly used in order to make your opponent go to the ceiling. These are the high lobs or medium lobs that bounce into this area of your opponent's strokes that he's forced to go to the ceiling. All right, let's talk about the actual serves. The first and the most important serve in racquetball is the drive. The drive serve is a ball that is hit on the front wall about 3 or 4 feet away from the side wall and about 2 feet high. What you want the ball to do is hit that black piece of paper right there, travel to the back side of the court here, go straight back and straight forward here. You don't want this serve to come off the side wall so that it comes around the back wall for an offensive opportunity for your opponent. What you want the ball to do is to hit into the front wall by this black spot here, bounce as close to this short line and over the line as possible, go straight back and come straight forward from the back wall. You don't want the serve to hit the side wall and come around off the back wall for a forehand setup for your opponent. Ideally, what you'd like your drive serve to do is bounce twice so that your opponent has to cut it off here or here without it coming off the back wall. All right, let's just go through that serve really quick. First of all, your feet should be parallel and almost touching the service line here. The next step is to be leaning with your upper body over the ball. Third step is to take your racket back, step slightly backwards and forwards with your right foot, and then step directly ahead into the ball to get body motion and momentum into your stroke, and then hit your natural forehand stroke. Let me hit a few of those for you. Over the ball, racket back. Okay, that was short. If you can see it, it was below my box. The box is my key. I'm trying to hit into that area in order to get my serve going where I want it to go. Let me try it again. My feet are parallel to the line. I'm over the ball. I take my racket back, drop. That was better. It was very close to the box. It was slightly off to the left. That's why it came off the side wall. One more time. Racket back. Okay, that was a little short, but that's the general idea. You want to go as close to this line as possible and straight back for the corner. Now, one thing that you have to do in racquetball is not only practice to one side with the serve, but practice to both sides. You're not always going to be playing a right-handed opponent, so when you do have to play that lefty, you have to be ready for him. It's the same thing here. I'm standing slightly left of center court, only this time I'm going to aim for the right side box. Racket back, drop. It was a little below the box, that's why it was short. One more time. Right there. Now, when you try this, you're probably going to say, but when I try to go to the right side of the court, the ball always comes back and either hits me, or it screens, or it's short. The key point here is that when you're serving your drive down the left side, you're meeting the ball out in front of you here. If you notice, my racket is angling towards this side of the court, so the ball is going to go into that corner. When you want to serve the right side serve, all you do is meet the ball further back in your stance. Here, my racket is angling towards this corner. I'll try and do that slow. Just like that. That's a perfect serve. One more time. It's barely over this line, and it's bouncing twice before it comes to the back wall. One variation on the drive serve is called the crack. A crack serve is a serve that hits the front wall, hits the side wall, somewhere low here, and then just sort of rolls out off the side wall. Let me try a few of those. This is a very difficult serve to learn, but it's extremely effective once you have it. Same motion as the drive serve, only this time you're going to meet the ball a little bit further out in front of you to get that wider angle so it hits into the side wall. Just like that. That's an ace. Let me see if I could hit one down the right side. Little off. Still a good serve though. Okay, let me just review those serves one more time. I'll do the drive left, drive right, and then we'll go to the crack. Racket back, step. Those are all good serves. Let me try one crack to the left. Little off. And that's the drive serve. What I just demonstrated was a proper way to get prepared to hit your serve. When you're in the box, you have 10 seconds in which to think about what type of serve you want to serve to your opponent, to relax your body, and to get your mind in full working order. So use those 10 seconds in order to get prepared. The serve I just served was a Z serve. The path it travels is it hits a side wall, hits a front wall, hits a side wall in this area, travels back towards the back wall. Ideally, you want it to hit the side wall about 3 to 4 feet away from the back wall and have it pop back towards your opponent this way. The Z serve is the second most important offensive serve there is in racquetball. When you serve your drive serve and you short it, the Z serve is the serve you want to look to because you want to maintain an offensive threat throughout the match. Okay, now to actually serve the Z, you're standing slightly left of center. You can't stand in center court to serve a Z serve because you won't be able to get the angle sharp enough in order to make it go towards this side wall. So you have to stand slightly left of center court. Once again, your feet are parallel and almost touching the line. It's the same stroke, only this time, instead of stepping straight ahead here, you have to step towards the side wall. Okay, that was short. Let me try one more. Okay, did you see how that ball grabbed on the side wall and just died going towards the back wall? That's what you want your ball to do on the Z serve. If you notice, these blocks are in a different position now. The reason for that is even the pros, when they're first learning how to serve a new serve, they use this box theory. What that does is it gives them a definite spot on the wall to hit and aim for so that their serve can go into the same path every time. You want to get the same swing, the same motion, have the ball go into the same area of the court every time you serve it. That's what makes a person consistent in winning racquetball. Let me show you that serve one more time. That's just about perfect. If you serve if you see that the ball is coming off the back wall, instead of hitting the side wall first, that means you're hitting it too close to center court this way. So you have to hit the ball further over that side. If the ball is hitting and coming up short, in this area you're hitting it too close to the side wall. These are my spots on the front wall. Your spot is going to be different, so adjust it all the time in order to get it into your hitting area. Now, in order for me to serve a Z to a lefty, I have to move over to the right side of the court here. What I do is I throw the ball out in front of me. Now I'm stepping more towards center court, and I'm whipping that ball into that area and having it come behind me, bounce, and hit the side wall here. Once again, same thing's going to happen. You want it to die before it comes off the back wall. My feet are parallel and touching the line out in front of me. That was a little short. I hit it a little bit too close to the side wall. That's the general path that you want your Z serve to take. Just like that. That's a perfect Z ball. We just went through the offensive drive and offensive Z serves. Remember that these serves are used when you're trying to either get an immediate point by serving an ace, or you're trying to force your opponent into a weak service return. Now we're going to get into the defensive serves, the serves that you serve when you're trying to force your opponent to the ceiling immediately off the serve. There are three types of defensive serves. The first, which we're going to go through, is the high Z. You start out, you're slightly left of center court. Once again, you'll notice that our boxes are moved. I'm aiming for the box, the ball hits front wall, side wall, and it goes towards the back wall here. One thing to look out for is not to serve it too hard so that it comes way off the back wall so that your opponent can hit and get a full swing on the ball. Let's watch this one more time. Same foot position. Okay, that's a little short. You have to get it deeper. You're trying to force your opponent to either take the ball here and go to the ceiling or cut it off here, which is a very difficult shot to hit in racquetball. One thing that you'll have to do whenever you're serving either the soft Z or the lobs that we're going to get into next is that this isn't a hit into the ball. There is no wrist snap. What you do is drop the ball, sort of catch and loft it into the area where you're trying to hit the ball. I'll do one improperly with the wrist snap and watch what happens. See how it comes way off the back wall? In the pros, that's a setup, and I'll be getting ready to return serve on the next play. This is a proper way. Easy, push, loft. The ball is dying as it gets towards the back wall. Okay, the second defensive serve is the medium lob, which is that black box right there. What you do is you face the front wall this way. I'm aiming for that box. I want the ball to hit there, come back, hit the side wall in this area so that my opponent can't rush in and cut it off. Have the ball bounce, hit the floor, and then die as it's going towards the back wall. Just like that. Your opponent is going to have even a very difficult time even returning that shot to the ceiling. One more time. Okay, I missed the side wall, but still not a bad lob. All right, the third defensive shot is the high lob. It's going to be hit slightly to the left and below the tee in the sport gallery. Side wall. A little bit short, but that's the right idea. You want the ball to hit and loft, catch the side wall in this same area right here, and then die as it's going towards the back wall. Okay, that's not bad though, right there. There are two times when you want to use one of these defensive serves. One is when your opponent has a weak ceiling ball game. In the pros, the areas of concentration are shooting the ball quickly, hitting the ball hard, and a lot of people have really slacked off on the ceiling ball game. That's one time. The other time is when you want to try and change the momentum of the match. Say you're down 15 to 5 or 6 in a game and your opponent's really hot. What you want to do is slow the pace of the game down. Try and switch the momentum to your side. All right, let's just go through all three of those serves one more time. The first is the Z. Okay, that's a little short. The second is the medium lob. Right there. And the third is the high lob. That's perfect. Okay, remember the key factor when you're serving these serves is not to hit the ball, no wrist snap. All you do is loft the ball, catch it in your racket, and just push it up to where you want to hit it, whether it be a Z or one of the lobs. Okay, another area of the serve that we should cover is deception and footwork. When I'm getting ready to serve a ball, I'll generally stand in the same area of the court here. From this position, I'll use the same stroke, same footwork, and everything, whether I'm going to serve my drive down the left, my drive down the right, my quick Z, or my quick Z to this side. All right, let's just go through that real quick. Here, I serve the drive. Now I'll serve it over to this side. Same motion. What this will do is, instead of your opponent standing in backcourt and knowing that from a particular thing that you do, you're going to serve the ball here, he's going to be back there second guessing everything. That's going to give you an extra fraction of a second to win an outright ace or just have him return a weak service return. All right, now footwork. After you serve the ball, what do you do? How do you get into the return of serve position after your opponent returns the ball? Well, what you do, we'll do it with the drive serve. You drive serve, pivot, and shuffle back in this position, facing your opponent diagonally. What you want to do, and it's necessary, is to always look at your opponent and always look at the ball to know where it's going. From here, as he's getting ready to hit the ball, I'll start shuffling back in. If he hits it down the line, I'm right there to get that ball. If he hits it cross court, I just continue my motion to here in order to get that ball. Also, from this position, in order for him to hit an effective cross-court shot, is going to have to be right next to me. So he's either, if he hits it a little bit too far away from me, it's not going to be a good pass shot. If he hits it too close, it's going to rip me, but in an important match, I would much prefer the rip than the loss of a point. Let's go through that one more time. The shuffle back, he's getting ready to hit the ball, I start to shuffle forward, pivot, or extend this way. What you're doing here is you're giving him the outright kill shot in the left corner, but it maximizes your coverage throughout the rest of the court area. The same thing on the right side of the court. When I serve over there, the movement is straight back. There's no pivot because you're already facing that way. One more time. Just like this. I'm here, and as he's getting ready to hit the ball, I start to shuffle in. If he cross-courts it, I pivot, and I'm there. If he downs the line, I'm already there. I just extend to this way.
The key to a good service return is anticipation. If you watch which way the server's moving before he serves, you're able to get back into the position to receive the serve sooner. Now there's two types of service returns. There's the offensive return and the defensive return. Usually your server has a pretty good serve, so there's not a whole lot you can do except try to flick it out of the corner and go up to the ceiling or go for an around the wall ball. Now when hitting a ceiling shot, you don't want to hit it too hard that it's going to come off the back wall for a setup. You want to hit it so that it ends up in the deep court area here, about waist high or up. Now, one thing you might want to remember is to hit it to the backhand side more often than not, only because a backhand is usually less powerful than the forehand. It's not usually as good as their forehand, so it doesn't make that much difference as long as the ball comes back from the waist-high area in the deep court. You can hit it anywhere on the court, but that's the main objective, is to keep it up high. Now, hitting the round of the wall ball is basically the same idea. It's to hit the side wall first, up high, the front wall, the side wall, and it comes back deep. Now, what both of these two returns do is they bring the server out of the front area here, which is the ideal position, and they bring him into the deep court, which allows you, namely, one, to get back into the rally, and two, to get back into the service area, the ideal position. Why don't you show us some serves, and I'll try to return them. Okay, now if you notice, every time he had to receive my serve, or receive my shot, it was way up in the high area up here, so that he couldn't go for a kill shot. That allowed us to have a rally and get back into it. Hopefully I can regain the serve again. Come on. Okay, also, both of these returns work for any one of these serves. It's a good return of serve if he's got a real effective serve. It's a good serve. There's not much I could have done on that serve. It died right on the back wall. Okay, it's also important that you hit the ceiling first, usually up near the crack on the front wall. You're hitting the ceiling first and then the front wall. What happens on my last shot, my ceiling ball hit the side wall first, it hit the ceiling and it died short, leaving a setup for him. Okay, that's the ceiling ball return. If you notice, each time I received the serve, I hit the ceiling ball in such that it brought Rich way out of position and allowed us to get back into the rally so that I can assume front court position. Now that I've shown you how to hit the ceiling ball, let me show you how to hit it. It's basically the same stroke as a backhand if it comes to the backhand side, except that you're standing up straighter and you're contacting the ball up in this area, usually from the waist high up. Like so, up here. Okay, and there's a lot of wrist snap, the same wrist snap that you used on your regular backhand stroke. When you hit a forehand, simply facing the other side wall, you rack it back, standing straight up, the same stroke. From here, up. Rich, why don't you serve up a few and I'll receive your serves.
you're anything like me, you would much rather play racquetball than practice, but practice is an extremely important aspect of the game. Something that makes practicing your serves fun is what we call the serve into the box drill. What you do is you take a box about this big, lay it into the corner with the face outwards like this. Go to the service box and just practice serving the ball into the box. I'll try about 4 or 5 and let's see how good I am at it. Okay, the idea, don't try and overhit it, just try and get it near that box. That's terrible. Couple more. There you go. One more time. Just like that. That's perfect. If you can do that every time, 10 out of 10, you're ready for the pros. Now, a way to practice your lob serve is simply to take the box and have the open end facing upwards. And now what you're going to do is lob the ball up and try and have it fall into the box. This is tougher than the drive. All right. That's a perfect lob there. Your opponent would either have to cut it off and hit the ceiling here or rush it and try and drive it. Oh, man. Let me try one more. Oh, that was a little bit too hard. These are just a few things that you can try in order to make practice more fun.